Former President Donald Trump's rallies have become events marked by strange declarations, frequent gaffes, and now, thinning crowds. Trump's recent rally in Atlanta, Georgia, was no exception. What should have been a high-energy event aiming to rally supporters instead turned into an embarrassing spectacle. Onlookers reported a steady trickle of attendees leaving mid-speech as Trump veered off course with bizarre and confusing statements. From name-calling to mistaken historical references, his remarks left many questioning the direction of his campaign, and the crowd's reaction spoke volumes. This event serves as a striking reminder of how drastically Trump's popularity has shifted in some areas, with even once loyal audiences expressing frustration. As he addressed topics from World War II to hydrogen cars to Kamala Harris, the gathering descended into a series of baffling rants, leaving the remaining attendees and the rest of America wondering what his message really is. Let's delve deeper into this chaotic event, dissecting Trump's unusual rhetoric, the crowd's reaction, and what this spectacle might reveal about the state of his political ambitions as he eyes another term. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to reaching 5,000 subscribers, but we can't do it without you. So, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe right now. And if you're already subscribed, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know your thoughts. Alright, let's dive right into it. Section 1. A faltering energy in Atlanta. At this point in his political career, Donald Trump's rallies have developed a certain reputation. Yet, even by those standards, the Atlanta rally's crowd seemed notably disengaged. As Trump took the stage, his attempt to rile up the audience initially received polite applause, but the enthusiasm soon waned. Attendees began leaving mid-speech, a phenomenon that has occurred more frequently in his recent appearances. Observers couldn't help but compare the thin turnout and low energy to vibrant Democratic rallies held in other states, such as those for Vice President Kamala Harris in Philadelphia. In stark contrast to Trump's previous rallies, the energy level in Atlanta was reportedly subdued from the outset, with attendees shifting restlessly as Trump launched into his usual diatribe against the Biden administration, media, and political opponents. Still, the most striking moment came when the crowd, visibly losing interest, started to trickle out, an unusual sight for the former president, who has often boasted of packed venues and loyal followers. Those still in attendance didn't quite fill the venue, which left a striking visual statement, a former president losing ground with his own supporters. Section 2. Trump's verbal slip. World War II mishap. The tone of Trump's speech was also marred by several gaffes, none more noticeable than his repeated reference to World War II. While addressing escalating global tensions, Trump mistakenly warned that America was headed into World War II rather than World War III. The crowd's puzzled response prompted an attendee to shout, "You mean III," attempting to correct him. Trump appeared momentarily taken aback, but quickly brushed it off, repeating the phrase several times, seemingly unbothered by the error. This particular gaffe circulated rapidly on social media, with critics questioning whether it was simply a slip or indicative of a deeper issue. For many in attendance, the misstatement added to the sense of disconnection and unease that hung over the rally. His reference to World War II veterans and thanking the audience for helping fight the war underscored the confusion, with some wondering if this disconnect signaled a decline in his coherence. Section 3. Attacks on Kamala Harris. Projection or deflection. Throughout the rally, Trump returned repeatedly to Vice President Kamala Harris, labeling her a fascist, a train wreck, and claiming that she wanted to turn the military woke. These pointed attacks on Harris seemed to lack substance and were largely repetitive. His repeated jabs were reminiscent of his well-documented strategy of targeting opponents through name-calling, yet this time, the tactic seemed to miss its mark, with members of the crowd looking visibly unenthused. The rhetorical strategy felt more like projection, as many noted that Trump's accusations echoed common criticisms of his own administration. When he called Harris a fascist, it struck a particular note of irony among both supporters and critics, who saw it as an attempt to deflect attention from his own controversies. This pattern of projection has long been part of Trump's playbook, yet at this rally, it felt especially forced and out of place. Instead of rallying his audience, it served as an unwelcome reminder of the divisive tactics that many have grown weary of. Section 4. The Teleprompter Irony and Hydrogen Car Rant. Midway through his speech, Trump took a moment to brag about not needing a teleprompter, an ironic declaration given that he was indeed using one. As he pointed to the device with a sense of pride, the audience's reaction was muted, almost as though they too noticed the irony. This brief boast exemplified the contradictions that have come to characterize his speeches. Perhaps the most bewildering moment of the rally, however, was Trump's rant about hydrogen cars. He warned about their dangers, creating a hypothetical scenario involving Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene driving one when an explosion occurs, supposedly leaving her unrecognizable. The convoluted narrative about hydrogen dangers was perplexing to many and seemed to go off-topic, leaving the audience unsure how to respond. Social media quickly reacted to Trump's story, with clips of his statement about Marjorie Taylor Greene circulating widely, sparking everything from ridicule to genuine concern about his mental clarity. The rant highlighted the shift in Trump's rhetoric. Rather than focusing on policies or plans, his speeches now seem to revolve around personal grievances and peculiar anecdotes that leave more questions than answers. Section 5. The Michelle Obama Mention. During his speech, Trump couldn't resist bringing up former First Lady Michelle Obama, whom he accused of being nasty toward him. He claimed he had always been respectful toward her, but that she had made a mistake by speaking out. This apparent grievance seemed to stem from past comments Michelle Obama has made about Trump's divisive behavior and rhetoric. Michelle Obama has been an outspoken critic of Trump's presidency, so her mention at this rally felt out of place to many, particularly as it was neither recent nor relevant to the larger context of Trump's speech. The audience, already becoming disengaged, seemed further detached as he delved into what sounded like a personal grudge rather than a politically relevant point. Section 6. Allegations against Kamala Harris's language. As if grasping for new material, Trump then launched into an anecdote accusing Vice President Harris of using the F-word while off-camera. Although he offered no evidence or context, he expressed outrage, suggesting that if he had ever done the same, it would have dominated headlines. His complaints seemed contrived, particularly given Trump's own history of unfiltered language and inflammatory comments. The irony wasn't lost on the audience, many of whom seemed visibly unpersuaded. This particular attack came across as both petty and unfounded, leaving some wondering if Trump was struggling to find meaningful content for his rally speech. It also underscored a common criticism of Trump's speaking style. Rather than focusing on policies or ideas, he often reverts to personal attacks that lack depth and substance. Section 7. Chanting, "Lock her up." Yet again, as the rally wound down, Trump resorted to leading the crowd in a chant of "Lock her up," directed at Kamala Harris. This chant has become a hallmark of his events, yet its impact has diminished over time. Once a powerful slogan, it now felt like a tired trope, unable to reignite the crowd's enthusiasm. The repetition seemed to underline how reliant Trump has become on familiar, divisive rhetoric rather than presenting a compelling message to undecided voters. Donald Trump's rally in Atlanta was marked by dwindling enthusiasm, leaving many to wonder if his campaign can retain momentum in the upcoming election. His repetitive attacks, historical missteps, and off-topic rants were far from the rallying cry that many attendees had hoped for. As his once loyal base shows signs of frustration, it raises serious questions about the direction of his campaign and whether he can successfully reignite the excitement of his previous runs. While his supporters remain devoted, it's undeniable that a shift is occurring. With thinning crowds, confused messaging, and erratic statements, Trump's latest rally reveals an aging political strategy struggling to adapt to a changing audience. His Atlanta performance may well be a preview of what's to come as his campaign faces the challenges of retaining its relevance in a landscape that appears to be slowly turning against him. As Trump pushes forward, only time will tell whether he can recover from this disheartening turnout or if his political influence is beginning to wane.